my next guest is asking the big question tonight. Is the great Australian dream worth risking your future for? Please welcome Wilson Luna to the program. From Your Family, Your Money. Welcome back to Walt's World, Wilson.
G'day, Walter. How you going?
Very good, mate. First, let me get this out of the road nice and early in the piece. Your new publicity shot, very smooth. The glasses are off. The hair's got a bit of product in it, and the tie is gone.
So I had nothing to do with that, funnily enough. I mean, I was actually just talking to your producer. I said I knew nothing about it. They just do that stuff, and it's not really my game, to be honest.
And you go, where does this stuff end up?
Exactly.
And the next thing you go, hang on, it's on all little damn letterheads.
Yeah.
That's a good shot. Look, you've lost 10 years there. Easy.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Looking very cool and groovy. What dye are you using? No, I'm only kidding. No.
I'll tell my wife that one, actually. She'll have a good laugh at it, I reckon.
Home ownership. Now, that is what we want to talk about tonight, in all seriousness. It's long been considered the great Australian dream, hasn't it?
Yeah. Look, I like to say the following, that when it comes to home ownership, we're unique in the world because it's actually our dream. I mean, most Australian families say quarter-acre block, house on it, that's it.
Yep.
Whilst other cultures, like the American culture, is like the dream is to become a zillionaire, so it's a totally different value system.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why, you look at just about every statistic, and in terms of home ownership, the prices we pay from an income to price ratio perspective.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's about the highest in the world. So there's nothing funny about it from the point of view of getting into a new home.
Ooh, no. And for a lot of mortgage holders, the old 3 bedrooms, the backyard, the Hills Hoist, which is looking a bit sick at my place right now, is rapidly becoming a nightmare, isn't it? Because of the cost of repaying that mortgage.
Yeah, it's all about knowing what you can afford and watch out with the keeping up with the Joneses status. I think that's a good thing to sort of take on board. And I know we talk to our clients a lot in regards to that. It's all about, what are you comfortable living within? Because it's not worth, going through financial difficulty just to keep a roof on your head, especially one that's probably got 4 bedrooms and you've only got, 1 child or 2 child. So it's all about living within your means, I think, a big part of it.
Yeah, but a lot of people want to go for that McMansion thing, and I think the Americans have got a lot to answer for there.
Yeah, I think we're sort of following their track, to be honest. But
you watch American TV, and they're all living in these bloody great big places, and you go, how do they afford that? And then you discover, hey, they can't.
Yeah.
As is happening in America at the moment.
Yeah, look, we actually, talking about America, we actually got some figures out. There was a ComSec report that just came out this week, and I'll give you some stats that, particularly when it comes to people that are, individuals that are sort of struggling to pay their mortgage, struggling on a week-to-week basis. Here's some statistics that show that there's a big softening in the market at the moment, just to give you an idea. Newly erected dwellings slumped by 12%, and if we take the last 3 months, it's up to 36% slump in erected new dwellings, i.e. it's a 32-year low.
All right, so this is people actually putting brand new houses on blocks.
Yes, reduced by 36% over the last year.
Gee, that is a huge drop, isn't it?
Secondly, our first homeowners market, or first home owners, reduced. It's actually the lowest since for 6.5 years. Well,
in the words of George Negus, the most important question: why, Wilson Luna?
I'd probably say that there's a variety of reasons. Obviously, the ones that we talk to about on a week-to-week basis, things like, it's getting dearer to live in Australia, period. Everything from, petrol to groceries to electricity bills. But I'd probably say, apart from that, it's things like, the recent rise in interest rates last year, 30% rise in the cost of living hasn't helped at all. Fourthly...
And it's getting worse.
Fourthly, we pay a hell of a lot for our houses. When you look at it realistically, we pay so much for our houses that, it's getting to a stage where I think something's got to give, and I think these figures are beginning to demonstrate that.
Well, your report showed that, our housing prices in Australia are overvalued by up to 56%.
Yeah. And I think if there is a bubble, which some people sort of speculate on, we're going to feel it in the next couple of years, particularly if these figures are anything to go by. Things are so tight at the moment that, we've got a situation where there's, I don't know how, I think there's a really good link with this, that there's almost $50 million was released from superannuation for early release. So basically, people that have gone in there and said, look, I need it released early, I haven't retired yet, but I can't afford my mortgage, so I really need the money out, which is, by the way, something really, really unadvisable to do. So unless it's an absolute last resort, don't do that because the consequences behind it are many and severe at times.
You're mortgaging your future.
Yeah.
Aren't you? And the government's doing that for us. We don't need to help ourselves.
Yeah. But it's sad statistics because you're thinking, okay, fine, 8 months, $50 million. That means that there's a lot of people that are feeling that mortgage stress and that are actually having to dip into their own super, pay penalties to get it out, etc., just to be able to make those repayments. So I think it's a sign of, we've been brought up in a culture that property prices can never drop.
Guess what?
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. They can. They can. And just to give you a comparison rate and sorry, I'm fairly passionate and obsessed about this area because I know it affects so many Australians, but remember when the interest rates in the 80s were 18-19%?
Yeah, I know. That's when I got in.
Yeah. Well, today's terms, the price that we're paying for property, if they get to 8 to 9%, it's equivalent to the 18-19% back then.
Oh, okay, because of the property pricing.
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's why the squeeze. That's why people were saying, hang on a minute, we've had it worse when they're 18-19%.
Yeah, but the houses weren't as...
They've gone up like fivefold, yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's something that people are realising. Their parents are probably telling them, "Hang on, we had 18%, yeah, but their houses were probably worth 30,000-40,000 versus 300 to 400." So that's a humongous difference. I think one of the points to take out on this is, some people are opting at the moment to say, "Look, I'm either going to stay at home for longer," which is probably one of the reasons why that first home buyers thing has gone down.
Yes, just when you think you're an empty nester, you're not.
It's not happening, yeah. Or B, a lot of individuals, especially younger couples, are saying, look, renting is proportionally so much cheaper in certain areas. They're saying, look, we'll rent for a while until we've got a big enough deposit that we're not going to get in way over our heads, which I think is it's a fantastic decision if you're in that situation.
Good thinking, eh? You'd advise on that?
Yeah, there's situations out there where people are literally spending 1.5 incomes to support a mortgage. Now, just imagine what happens when an income goes.
Exactly.
Or imagine what happens if you get a natural disaster, just like you guys have experienced. Just as simple as that is that knocks you about a bit. How do you come back from there? Our suggestion is always, no more than half an income should go towards it at max. But with Australian house prices, that's pretty unrealistic. Let's say you say 75% at tops. But if you're going anywhere beyond that, I think you're just setting yourself up for a loss down the track, that's all.
Are a lot of people dipping into their equity?
Yes.
And that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, but we got used to that. For 12 years of the banks basically saying, you have trouble, refinance. And
have some more money.
We got used to doing that for some reason.
Yeah.
So, and worse than that, some people are dipping into their equity to pay the deposit for their kids' new home.
Yeah.
Which, in its very self, isn't a bad thing, obviously, to support the next generation. But I always say, I like the theory of, okay, look, I'm prepared to support it, but we go 50-50, so I want to make sure that you can save half of it as well. Because it's all about getting the discipline to be able to save it, because then eventually you're going to have to be making the repayments. So I think that's a bigger lesson we can teach our kids.
It is indeed. We need to teach ourselves a few lessons too. We might even talk about credit cards later as well.
Yeah.
But more on the Great Australian Dream in just a moment here on Brisbane's own 1116 4BC. We're talking with Wilson Luna from YourFamilyYourMoney.com.
More of what you want, more of what you need. Nights with Walter Williams, Brisbane's own
1116 4BC.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. For this week only, save $10 per metre on our entire range of premium wall and floor tiles. Absolutely no exceptions. Until this Sunday only, save $10 per metre on all our premium ranges of wall and floor tiles covered by our exclusive lifetime guarantee. But only until this Sunday at National Tiles. Take exit 23 Pacific Motorway. We're just north of IKEA.
G'day, I'm Wally Lewis. Well, like me, CSG Print Services is a true Queenslander. So when you're looking for the world leader in printed office equipment, then make sure you talk to CSG. CSG is a public company owned by mum and dad investors with no foreign ownership. So as a true Queenslander, CSG Print Services head office is right here in Brisbane. For all your printing, faxing, scanning, photocopying, document storage and retrieval, then support a true Queenslander. CSG Print Services.
Get into Sanity for the hottest bundle around. The complete bundle includes a Sony Blu-ray player, an HDMI cable, and your choice of 5 Blu-rays. And with over 100 titles to choose from, there's something for everyone. All this for just $199. Save up to $180. The easiest way to begin your Blu-ray collection is with Sanity. It's strictly while stocks last, so get in quick to your local Sanity store or online at sanity.com.au. Sanity. Great service, great value.
Tommy Tucker Trestles and Plank Factory. For Plank Magic, plank clamps, drop saw benches, aluminium step treads, and the award-winning Tommy Tucker Trestles safety system. Tommy Tucker Trestles and Plank Factory. Kenway Drive, Underwood. Factory direct prices. Cooperation guaranteed.
Mum and Dad don't want to lose their lifestyle and independence. That's why Azure Blue Redcliffe suits them perfectly.
Reserve your apartment now. 1-800-007-218.
The Qantas Link Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, one of Australia's flagship races, departs off Sandgate on Good Friday. Now in its 63rd year, this Blue Water Classic, organised by the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, covers 308 nautical miles and takes yachts on an exciting northbound voyage to Gladstone Harbour. Line the shores of Shorncliffe, Sandgate and Redcliffe and see a true spectacle. The Qantas Link Brisbane to Gladstone, starting 12 noon on Good Friday, April 22nd. Proudly supported by Brisbane's own 1116 4BC.
Coming up very shortly with Wilson Luna, we'll find out some 3 simple steps that you can use to avoid possibly losing your house and sacrificing your future. But, Wilson, just to back cap on a few things in just a moment, but before we do that, the icebreaker tonight I'm asking people is, does your family still gather around the dinner table to eat and share conversation? Is that the case at your place?
It is. We've got a custom on that, actually. And we basically say that eating hour is when there's no TV, there's no radio, there's nothing. When we catch up on what's happened during the day. It's probably the only time of the day, though. I've got to admit that. In the morning, breakfast and all that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. But dinner, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good habit to get into.
Yeah, but actually that came from my in-laws, so I thank them for that. I don't thank them for many things, but that's definitely them. Yeah.
Come on, no mother-in-law jokes tonight.
Actually, they might be listening, so I thought I'd put in a nice comment there.
That's right. Oh, you're in the good books now. That's sorted out for Christmas. Now, just recapping, people who apply for early access to this super in an effort to maybe meet overdue mortgage payments and prevent foreclosure, you're saying this is a risky strategy.
Yeah, don't do this.
Yeah, desperate times, though, sometimes called for desperate measures.
Yeah, but it's not worth the pain of making your retirement suffer. Remember, when we retire, generally we're going to be living on these savings. This is a no-touch zone. At all. No, there's depending on the circumstances and everything, there can be penalties, etc. for withdrawing early. You don't want to be going in that. If you are in a situation where you can't pay, there's a couple of options.
Okay, all right. So are these the ones where you say that acting quickly, getting advice, exploring all your options are vital?
Yeah. Talk to your current bank for starters. Most banks understand that some people are going through problems. So they'll be, in more cases than not, they'll generally be willful to either A, extend the term of the loan, i.e. it reduces the overall, or B, tell them, can we do interest only for a while until we get over this hurdle, to get over this situation.
Yeah, they can be pretty good like that, banks.
Yeah, depends when and how and what relationship you have, but yeah, at least try it. If that doesn't work, start looking at your other options. Have a look at other banks that might be able to do it.
That buys you a bit of breathing space, doesn't it?
In most cases, that's what people need, because in a lot of cases, the squeeze comes when one partner loses their job, or when it's simply gone overboard and the credit card is just peaked out and the creditors want payments, so suddenly you're in this vicious cycle where you need stuff and people are just looking for the exit, basically how to get out of this in a hurry. And you never want to get there. Once you find that you're dipping into your credit card to make weekly payments, it's the first sign of saying, okay, I need to do something to rectify this. Don't wait till the very end, because at the end, they don't give you many options. Whilst if you do it initially, you've got some options. And
see, credit cards, you're paying, 17, 20% more interest, Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's through the roof.
Yeah, and watch out as well, and I've heard this happen for a few times, the one where people keep switching credit cards for, they do catch up on that, because it does always register that there's been a change in credit cards. So at one stage they will stop that from allowing you to happen. Transferring balances, etc.
Oh, okay. So there will come a point when you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of credit card companies out there offering to make the switch to us, and for the first 12 months,
we'll give you
a ridiculously low interest rate. But after that, the honeymoon period is over, and you are up the proverbial creek.
We're in a bit of issues, yeah.
In a paddle. in a canoe without a paddle. Yeah. So, yeah.
Big changes in the credit card market, but, we'll chat about them in the coming week because there's been some really big changes that are actually favour the consumers.
Well, just while we are talking credit card, how important is it to try and get your balance to zero at the end of each month?
Everything. I like credit cards. Look, if there was one positive about credit cards, it's the fact that you don't have to go to the bank every 5 minutes. You get a bill. You get a bill that tells you where you've spent all your money for the month. So when you're doing your budget, you can just see where you spent it.
All right, that's that whole money leakage thing you've been talking about in the past.
Absolutely, you got a dead set account. If you only use one credit card when the statement comes in, you know exactly where you were and who spent what on what and where, and so that's not bad from that perspective. And also thirdly, that you got 55 days to get it interest free. So basically, it's a free loan. Obviously. That is, you've got to add on the application fee and the annual fee, so that's never free.
I know, I got hit with mine the other day, $69 for the annual fee.
And that's a pretty cheap one.
Is it? Is that good?
Yeah, believe me, that's not too bad. And that's what I like about it. This is why you shouldn't go a day over. You go a day over and you suddenly start paying 17, 18, 19% on money that you should never be paying that rate on.
No.
So it's all about discipline. It's all about saying, look, I'm going to get the benefits from this card, but I don't want to get the other side of it because they're relying on you not paying it. That's their whole. That's what
of course, that's how they make money.
So it's all about playing that game. And if you feel that you can't, don't play the game. I always say, unless you don't walk in a ring with Mike Tyson unless you think you've got a couple of swings in you. Otherwise you're in big trouble. And there are people that have a history of not being able to be disciplined with their finances. And you'll see them with 2-3 credit cards, and you say, look, it's a recipe for, it's almost like tempting yourself. You're a chocoholic and you walk into, one of these chocolate shops. You don't want to be going there. Stay right away from it. Boss, if you are disciplined, it's a good idea because it's nice to consolidate your bills, etc. But the best of all is use debit cards. That's my recommendation. I don't like credit cards. I much prefer debit cards.
Debit cards. How do they work?
Identical to a credit card. The only difference is that it's your money, not credit.
Right.
So if you don't have money in the bank, you can't buy the stuff.
Okay.
And so you get the score points, or you get the frequent flyer points. You get a consolidated statement. And you never have to worry about not paying the bill because it automatically gets paid as you go purchasing.
Right.
So it's all the benefits all put in one, and you've got a MasterCard if you need to buy something on eBay or you need to buy something on any of those websites.
Okay.
So it's a good idea.
So it still gives you the flexibility of a credit card.
Yes. Gives you every single thing of the credit card.
Even if you, like when you, go into accommodation and they always say, we've got to swipe your credit card.
That's it.
Then you can just get out your debit card.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's all I've got, by the way. In my personal account, I used to have credit. I don't have them anymore because it's so much easier just to have a debit card. Because not only that, I know how much money's in there, and I know I've got a couple of them. And what I do is one of them I keep a really low balance on. Why? Because if I take it out, if I'm using it on the internet or anything, I know that worst case scenario, someone, they come across fraud or anything, I know exactly how much I'm prepared to lose on it. So I keep a really low balance. The other one is probably for bigger items, but that's the one that I sort of hold to do different things on.
But not so much on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's some good advice to know.
That might be an option for people, but credit cards, unless you're very disciplined, stay away from them.
Nasty business. And the thing with credit card companies is they just want to keep sending you information on a regular basis saying, hey, upscale your credit. We can extend it to 4, 5, 6, whatever, thousands of dollars. Okay, so anyway, we've given us some good advice on how to ease the squeeze. Talk to the banks about your financial hardship. All right. What about exploring your options?
Yeah, exploring your options. Have a look at independent financing. You go out there and check out mortgage broker, online comparison sites. Make sure you're on the right mortgage. Maybe you're overpaying, you don't know about it. And lastly, if you find yourself in a squeeze, consider downsizing. This is the biggest. If you ever give this advice, and we've given this advice to clients, you get that expression on their face, like saying, "Oh my God, what will my neighbours think, or what will my friends think?" And this is the answer to that. Yep. Don't worry about what they think. Worry about how you live on a day-to-day basis, and you shouldn't have to be struggling just to put a roof on your head. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's the simple thing. You know, if someone starts judging you because of how much money you got or how many rooms you got in your house, you know, there are other issues there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's, live within your means. I think you said that early in the piece, and I think that's great advice there. So many people don't. They do go for this American dream more so than even the Australian dream anymore.
Yeah, we've been Americanized slightly.
We have.
Oh, I agree.
But selling your home is a very emotional thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just the pride issue at stake here, Wilson, because, I mean, when you're selling a home, it's something you're attached to.
Oh, look,
it's got memories. And
yeah. Look,
maybe your firstborn was born there.
Yeah.
And things like that.
I think that's the hardest part about it. That emotion. No, I do. I think that's the hardest part about it, the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
But don't let that influence you, having a really miserable time because, you know, your paycheck comes in and you barely can't make it, or you've got the credit card companies calling you because you haven't made last month. It's not worth to go that extreme.
It's not worth the grief.
It's not.
Because it could cost you your marriage.
Oh, yeah.
It just gets out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, mate. Good advice there. Get out before it's too late. Explore your options. Ease the squeeze. They're the three big tips we get out of tonight's conversation. Thank you for helping us sort of answer the question, is the great Australian dream worth risking your future for? And the answer, no.
No. Mate, always a pleasure to chat with you, Walter.
It is indeed. Wilson Luna.
Have a great night, mate.
Good on you, mate. Wilson Luna from Your Family, Your Money. The new look, Wilson Luna, on 4BC tonight at all the W's, yourfamilyyourmoney.com. Get in touch with the guy, and he really knows what he's talking about. You know, whether it's for your families, your kids, even divorce, he's got it all covered. There's a whole range of books out there as well, with Wilson Luna's face on the cover.